Hey everyone, welcome back to The Road to Superman. This is the web series where we follow all the latest updates and rumors regarding the DCU Superman movie. This is episode 68, and today we finally have the first full trailer for the Superman movie, and it was incredible, and I'm so excited for this movie. Now, let's get into this breakdown because there is a lot to unpack here, but first, let me know your thoughts on the trailer in the comments below. So we start with these shots in the Arctic, which instantly reminded me of Man of Steel. Gunn said he took inspiration from many versions of Superman, including Zack Snyder's, and I think this is a direct nod to his movies, which I love. It feels like such a great nod back to our first look at Superman in Man of Steel. And then suddenly we see Superman crash right into the ground, which yet again reminded me of Man of Steel when Superman was learning to fly. But this time, he didn't just get back up, because we see Superman collapsed on the ground with blood coming out of his mouth, and he is seriously injured, and I did not expect this. And as he is struggling to breathe on the ground, we then cut to him as Clark making his way through the Metropolis crowds to get to work. And you know what? I like the hairstyle he has, because I would not think this guy was Superman. The glasses only do so much, but the hair actually works really well at making him look more different from Superman. And then we get to see more of the Daily Planet inside, with Clark and Steve Lombard in the center, with Cat Grant just off to the left, and the office is really vibrant with the blues and yellows, which I'm really liking. And then we get our first look at Lois Lane in this trailer, and we can see she is looking over at Clark, who is just ending a phone call, and just out of focus in the foreground is Jimmy Olsen. Now, I love this expression Clark has on his face. He clearly is showing this innocent cluelessness to him, which is very reminiscent of Christopher Reeve's Clark Kent, and also a very good way of setting yourself apart from Superman. And then we get our first look at Kent Farm, and it's growing on me. It's not what I expected, but I don't mind it. And we see Clark and Jonathan both looking very upset, and it actually looks like Clark is comforting Jonathan, which has got me thinking that maybe in this story, it's Martha who dies and not Jonathan. And whilst that would be very sad, this would mean we would be getting a very different take to what we are used to. And then we cut back to Superman laying in the snow, and he starts whistling, and as soon as he did this, I knew who was appearing. Out in the distance, we see the snow tearing up with a small white animal running towards the camera, and then we see Krypto, and he looks so cute. And honestly, this is just my childhood being brought back to life in live action, and he's in this scene for such an important reason. Superman says to him, "Home, take me home," and that home would be the Fortress of Solitude, which we will see very soon in this trailer. But I just want to talk about Krypto some more. I love the look of this Krypto. I know it's not the typical look for him, but I don't care. It still captures the magic and wonder, and also connection between a dog and its owner. And seeing how much he loves Superman is heartwarming, and it doesn't feel cheesy to me. That was a concern of mine, but I don't feel that here at all. And knowing that this Krypto is based on James Gunn's own dog, who he adopted, just adds another level of connection and understanding and love to him. And after this shot, we probably get one of my favorite shots of the whole trailer. Superman flying in slow motion to save this girl from an explosion, and with the epic music in the background, this just looks so good. These are the visuals that James Gunn is so good at, and it looks like we are going to have so many of them in this film. We even see a blue and red blur, which is something I don't think we have seen before in this style, and I love it. Which then leads us on to our first look of the one and only Lex Luthor, looking out of the window as Superman flies past, and he doesn't look happy at all. Which then cuts to an exterior shot of Luthor Corp, which is also another stunning shot of Metropolis. And if we zoom in on the top of the building, we can actually see the engineer opening a hatch and going inside. And I'm sure she is working with Luthor to take down Superman. And then we get another shot of Lex Luthor holding a gun inside a dark and misty building, and we hear a voice say Superman. And then the next shot cuts to Superman inside this glass box, and I wonder if this is in the same building that Lex is in. Either way, Superman punches himself out of it, and we get this quick, smooth panning shot, which is such a trademark James Gunn shot. And then this next part really got me. We see a young boy putting up a Superman flag and calling out his name as people all run away from danger. And I love this shot because it shows how whilst explosions are going off in the background, this boy still is holding out hope that Superman will come and save him and the people around him. So I think this is one of the most powerful shots in the trailer. And this next shot really surprised me as well. Superman's suit is clearly battle damaged, and he does not look happy, and the crowd around him are yelling abuse at him, and one man even throws a can at him. Now this is very surprising to me, because I thought the people of Metropolis would love him in this film, but maybe something happens that causes them to turn on him, or maybe they think he's just like the other heroes who are becoming an issue in today's society. And we clearly see it affect him in these next shots, where he is in this building with people all yelling at him from outside, and you can see he is struggling a lot. And this scene was filmed in Cleveland, and thanks to this shot, we know it is inside Stag Enterprises. Now later on in the trailer, we see Metamorpho, who I believe is being held in this building. In the comics, Rex Mason, who is Metamorpho, dates Simon Stagg's daughter, Sapphire Stagg, so I think Metamorpho is being held in Stag Enterprises. And just on Metamorpho, I love his design, and I think the use of practical effects was a really good idea. But then we get our first look at Guy Gardner, and I won't lie, I think he looks quite silly, but I think it's on purpose. And we also see Hawkgirl behind him, whose mask I also think looks a little silly. But I think the costumes are supposed to look that way because they are wearing corporate designed costumes by Maxwell Lord. But anyway, we see Guy Gardner use his Green Lantern ring to block the public from seeing inside, which at first I thought was nice because he wanted to give Superman some privacy, although from this previous shot he didn't look too happy, so maybe he is angry with Superman for some reason. And in this shot we also get our first look at Mr. Terrific, but he has some more screen time later on in this trailer. It then cuts to an aerial shot of Hawkgirl up in the air flying down to attack someone or something, and as it's during the day, I think it may be the kaiju that we see in the next shot. I believe these past few shots are actually in reverse order. I think we see Superman fighting the kaiju with Hawkgirl and the others helping out, but this fire the kaiju fires at Superman is what damages his suit. And then something bad happens which causes the person to throw the can at Superman, and then Guy Gardner to not be happy with him. But let's just take a minute to look at the kaiju. I love this design. We have never seen this kind of thing in a Superman movie before, and this will definitely tap into those fantasy elements that Gunn has mentioned. And I'm glad we are seeing something unique like this. It makes this Superman film stand out from past ones. And then we get a shot we all should recognize. Superman and Lois are facing each other, and we see this purpley green orb firing down at the city. Now, this was our first look at Superman, and clearly they are in no rush to go stop whatever is out there. So I'm sure it's not actually damaging the city right now, otherwise Superman would be right out there as soon as possible. But their faces look very serious, and so something has happened or is about to happen that they know is very dangerous. And then we cut to Clark and Lois at home kissing, and what I've noticed is that Lois is wearing the same outfit she was wearing at the Daily Planet, meaning Clark and Lois are together in that earlier shot of the trailer. And this next shot really interests me. Superman is kneeling down, looking really upset at this robot that looks like it is dying. Some have theorized that this could be Kelex, which is Superman's Kryptonian robot from the Fortress of Solitude. And that is interesting because could that mean what we are seeing behind them is the Fortress of Solitude? Because in this next shot we see these huge ice spikes rising from the ground, which definitely is the Fortress of Solitude. So they are going back to the classic look. And with the robot on the ground, it looks like maybe someone evil has found the Fortress of Solitude and is breaking in, and Kelex was one of the unfortunate victims of these people breaking in. But then we cut to this shot of these three huge buildings coming down, and I think that this is in this huge fight that goes on throughout Metropolis, and we see a bit more of it in the next few shots. But first, we get another really menacing shot of Lex Luthor, and I think Nicholas Hoult really looks the part. Clearly, Lex has been in some form of fight, and he is not happy about it whatsoever. And we then get a shot of a TV with that young boy on it from earlier. Now, the monitor brand is Luthor Corp, which has led me to assume that this is at Luthor Corp. However, this could just be one of the many things that Luthor sells. And the headline on the news confirms that Baravia exists in the DCU. And then following on from this shot, we see Superman pushing back against the kaiju, and we can see it just slightly reflected in the window behind Superman. And then we see Krypto dragging Superman back to the Fortress of Solitude, and and I'm still wondering how Superman got this injured. In fact, this whole trailer doesn't really reveal too much of the story, which I'm really glad about because it ensures that that mystery carries on throughout the promotion. And then we see the Man in Black that we have seen from the set photos in Cleveland punching through a wall and then fighting Superman, and it really looks like Superman is struggling. And I think this shot of the 3 buildings being knocked down is from this fight right here. And this fight sequence right here reminds me a lot of the fights Adam Warlock had in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I thought was a really engaging way of seeing these fights happen, and I feel we are going to experience more of those kind of fights in the film, but on a much larger scale. And then after this, we got our first proper look at Mr. Terrific in action, and I think he looks great. We see him on the beach, which is the same location those Luthor Corp workers are on, so this is the same location, and we get to see a bit of his powers. And surprisingly, Lois Lane is crouched next to him trying to hide from the bullets. So I think Lois needs to do some investigating into Luthor Corp, but knows if she goes alone, she won't be enough. But maybe she wants to keep it a secret from Superman, or maybe she is trying to find Superman as he has been locked away in the glass container. But then we get the money shot, Superman and Lois floating up in the air kissing, and this just looks magical. This is iconic Superman right here, and I love it. And then we got an extended shot from yesterday's teaser of Superman flying out of a fire of some sort and up into the air, and I wonder if this was him escaping the fight that left him like this at the beginning of the trailer. And then to end the trailer, we cut back to Superman and Lois looking out to the city, and you can feel the danger and seriousness of this scene. This feels like it will be towards the end of the movie, and Lois is trying to comfort Superman, and I'm so intrigued to see what goes on here, because it feels like there is something really dangerous happening right in front of them, and they're just watching. So I'm sure that will be explained in the movie. And so that is our very first Superman trailer, and I have to say I loved it. I didn't really know what to expect, but what we did get, I loved. I thought the visuals looked so good, and I'm really intrigued to see what happens in this movie. I'm just really impressed by this trailer. I don't want to jump the gun, but this feels like a movie DC fans and the world needs right now. And I'm so excited for this film, and I'm going to be watching this trailer on repeats for the next few months. Now make sure to let me know your thoughts on the trailer in the comments below. But that is all for today's episode of The Road to Superman. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss an episode. I hope to see you here again soon, so until then, have a great day. Bye!